Hi sewing friends, it's Carolina Moore, your favorite sewing and quilting YouTuber, and I'm here to show you the Starburst 30-degree ruler by It's Sew Emma. This is a ruler that is going to make some really interesting and really fun blocks depending on how we use it. So let's go ahead and get started. The Starburst 30-degree ruler is designed by It's Sew Emma. It's a Creative Grids ruler, and just like we're used to with Creative Grids ruler, it has this QR code which you can scan with your phone and will take you to a video that shows you the basics of how to use this ruler. It has both white lines and black lines, and it has that Creative Grids grippy that keeps everything from slipping. It also has all kinds of numbers all over it, and we're going to talk about some of these numbers as we go through different ways that you can use this Starburst 30-degree ruler. Now, with all Creative Grids rulers comes an instruction sheet, and this one has instructions for making a couple different types of blocks. I went ahead and did something a little different that I'm going to show you on this one, just so you can see different ways to use this ruler. I have a yellow and a print, and these are both 5.5 inches, and I've just pieced them together with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Now, I really like this B1 and A1 line. So that's this line right here and this line right here, because it's kind of like a halfway point on this wedge piece that we have here, this pointy petal shape. And what you can do is you can just line this up, I'm lining up the B1 shape here. And you're just going to cut all the way around your ruler. If you have a table where you can go and walk on different sides of your ruler, or walk on different sides of your cutting mat, that's going to be ideal so that you're not trying to cut underneath yourself like I'm doing here. So when I'm doing this on my big cutting mat, I walk around the cutting table so that I don't have to worry about going all over, going underneath my arms. There we go. So there's one cutout. Now the instructions have you, with the sizes that they're having you cut another one like this. But I feel like there's a lot of fabric waste here and here. And so depending on the design that you're making with your ruler, it's fun to just turn it around. And this time I'm going to use that same B1 line. And I'm going to bring it really close to this over here. And now I can cut what's really the inverse of the shape that I just cut. Make sure I have all my pieces cut. There we go. So now I have two shapes that are the inverse of one another, and this can make a really fun design for your quilt block. It can also make two different quilt blocks, one that has the print as your star and this is your background, and one that has the print as your background and the solid as your star. So this gives you a lot of different options. So we can go ahead and keep cutting more of these. And to make it a little bit easier to see, I have my spot on dot. These are my magnifying lenses. These are by the Gypsy Quilter, and they're my invention. I'll have a link down below to where you can purchase these, but they just stick right on your ruler. And it just helps see that line better so that we make sure that we're lining everything up. There we go. So there I've cut through one whole strip, and you can see this one I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and on this one I think I just have 5. 1, 2, yep, 3, 4, 5. So I was able to cut 11 pieces out of one strip, which is almost how many I need. I need a total of 12 of these pointy petal shapes in order to make a whole block. So this is one shy of what I need to make a block, but that's okay. I have a whole nother strip, and this strip, for fun, I'm going to go the other direction like this. So instead of using that B1 line, I'm going to use my A1 line to cut some shapes, and then I'm going to have this line kind of slashed over in the other direction, and you'll see what I mean by that in just a second. There we go. So this one was cut with the, now I've got to remember, the A1 line, and this one was cut with the B1 line, and you can see those come together to make a point like that. So this is going to give us different options when we put our blocks together. So I'm going to go ahead and keep cutting this whole strip. So I was again able to make 11 blades, 6 and 5, just like I have 6 and 5, and I need 12. So this will be too shy of being able to make a block, and this will be able to make a full block. Okay, so I'm going to set this one aside and show you some different options for how you're going to make your blocks. So here we go, and obviously it doesn't fit perfectly together because it hasn't all been sewn together, and there's a big hole in the middle because that's where all these points are going to come together. But this is a star-shaped block, and it's going to get squared up to 12.5 inches, which would then be 12 inches finished in a quilt. That, I'm going to tell you, you're going to have pieces that you're going to cut off here on the edge. There was all of this that we cut off, so there is quite a bit of scrap made in making these blocks, but it makes such a great pointed star block. There's also so many other things that you can do. So you can take these, and I can take every other, and you can see that it makes kind of a sawtooth design. If you had 12 that were all this design, you can have your sawtooth go the other way if you used all of these pieces. So these are your saw teeth going the other direction. We can also grab some of these pieces that we set aside. And you have options for making blocks this way. So I can alternate these two to make a positive, negative design. And that's really fun. Or another option is you can cut blades that are entirely one solid color. And you can put them between to make more of a pinwheel design. Or, let me grab my right pieces here again. You can have little points come out with these negative spaces between. Now piecing these together is really pretty simple. Here are my tips and tricks, is that when you piece them together, you'll want to piece them together in quadrants. So you'll take these two, piece them together with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and then you're going to cut out seam allowance here at this point so that when everything gets pressed, you don't have a bunch of bulk. And then you open this up. You can press your seams all in one direction, or you can press them open. Open is generally going to be easier for a block like this with lots of bulk. Then you're going to stitch these together. You want to make sure that you match up this line on both sides so your two seams are lined up, and that'll give you a nice pretty point. Stitch this, trim away that extra on the seam allowance here, almost like trimming away a dog ear, but you're really just trimming down the seam allowance. And then you have a 1/4. And then I like to take my point and square up from that point. So you want to make sure that you have a 1/4 inch seam allowance at your point, and then square up from there, which is what I always do when I have a Dresden type block. And this is really close to a Dresden type block. Make 4 of whatever your unit is, and then you can square it up. So there's lots of options here with this block. And I'm going to show you one more fun thing that we can do, and that's this is from my sparkler quilt pattern. which is on my site. And I'll link to that down below. And this is some of the extra fabric that I used with that. And you can see I actually have 3 different colors here. So we can go ahead and trim out pieces that have an extra stripe down the middle. So you can do all different kinds of stripes. So you can have a piece with a little angled stripe. And if I'd cut these pieces a little wider, you can see there's all kinds of lines here on the ruler. So you can have all kinds of stripes going this direction as well. So there you go. That's how easy it is to use the Starburst 30-degree ruler by It's So Emma. This is a Creative Grids ruler. I have links down below to where you can purchase this ruler and where you can get the spot on dot and a link to my sparkler quilt pattern. So be sure to check the description box for those. If you haven't already subscribed, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you know every time I have a new video up. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you really enjoyed it or have a friend that you think would enjoy it, I hope you hit that share button and share this video with them as well. Thanks so much for watching, my friends. It's been so fun teaching about this ruler, and I look forward to seeing you right here real soon. Bye for now.